the heart of every growing country is its citizens. In Zambia, young people make up over 50% of the population. The Program for Young Politicians in Africa, or PIPA, is a program run by CYLA that trains young people active in political parties in the principles of good leadership, democracy, and inclusivity. Young women in Zambia make up a relative majority of the population, taking up about 30%, and yet they are the least represented. This is why CYLA went further to develop the Young Women in Politics project. The Yowop project was pioneered by CYLA in partnership with Green Forum to empower young female politicians in Zambia with a platform to grow their networks and increase their presence. The Yowop mentorship program is meant to bridge the gap that exists between established female leaders and young female politicians by providing access to skills, technical knowledge, and networks. This is Kapirimposhi, a town in the heart of Zambia's central province. It is the seat of Kapirimposhi district and home to some of Zambia's most interesting sites. But there is one little known thing about this place. It is one of the few districts that houses a youth-headed ward.
My name is Mwinga Proskadnis. I'm the area councillor for Lukanga ward. And this is my second term of being the civic leader. Rather representing my ward in the chambers. One thing that I've learned from Piper is being able to interact with the grassroots, or rather being the community mobilizer. I'm thankful to Piper because I am the person this time of high caliber, the person of respected person in the community, respected person even at provincial, even now in mentoring others, more especially in the party. One person that is respected, and I'd want to see a lot of young people in politics, in key decision-making position. The young people who can do better than what I've done. I think that is my goal and my prayer to see a lot.
Proskadnis' hard work has made her a well-respected leader in her community. So much so that they see her as one of their own.
My name is Yowop Samu. I'm Council Secretary, Kapirimposhi Town Council. Proskadnis is an area councillor for Lukanga ward. Her being area councillor there entails that she's a strategist of that ward. She's at the helm of the social and economic development of the ward. So she drives the ward in terms of coming up with programs and plans that the ward would do. So she has to ensure that the programs of the ward are implemented to the latter. But of course, she does not do that alone. She does it through her contribution to the policies of the local authority, being Kapiri Town Council. For me, when I encountered Proskadnis, it was enlightening in that a youth has taken up such a challenge. I think we've seen councillors more in the older bracket, but for her taking up that challenge encourages other youths. And not only that, we've seen that out of the 18 ward councillors that we've had, there are only 2 female councillors, and her actually being the youngest and the most youthful.
Proskadnis is passionate about including young women in leadership spaces, and she was gracious enough to let us follow her as she took the time to take Ruth, one of her mentees, through her ward. Ruth is a lawyer, activist and politician from Lusaka.
So my name is Ruth K. Kangwandlovu, and I am a youth and gender activist as well as a movement lead for a social movement called Girls Gone Political. I'm also a participant of the Young Women in Politics Project Zambia, and the main essence, an idea of why we are here today in Kapirimposhi was to shadow a young female politician who is a councillor in Kapirimposhi. And I think this has meant so much to me today because I've had a practical aspect of what it is that's pertaining at the grassroots, how a leader ought to carry out herself, as well as how Proskadnis was able to interact with her own constituents.
Proskadnis started by taking her through the community, where she got to interact with the members on a one-on-one basis. Ruth also got to experience firsthand just how much of an impact Proskadnis has had on the lives of women living in the area. They then went to a primary school where they took the time to speak to young girls on the importance of their participation in leadership spaces.
Ine mazina yanga ndine Jere Dorini Ine ndine chairlady wapa Lukanga ward. Ine niyo ngazikomo kunchita mene tisevenza na bakansela batu kuno ku Lukanga ward. So kusevenza kwatu niyo kwa kuti ati masiku ano manje batichitako bwino ise kuno monga ku Lukanga ward monga bazimayi batipunzisako kupanga ko maklabu tapanga ko maklabu tose tangapaka ko magroup yakuti apena ngo tingapezeko wabwino motipunzisako kupesa pasako ma savings then abeve kuma youth benango nabeve anatitandiza kuteta ko ma forms yakuti penango bana bangono benango abanasiriza ko ma school bangatengeko bazari kuti bangawaperekeko ku school then achinango batitandizako kuno kwatu ku Lukanga ward monga ku mayouth enango nabeve babatandizako kuti mayouth yaja nabenango bakazipezako tandizo ya development muno mu Lukanga ward na vamanzi benango bezovutika maningi manzi kuno kwatu ku Lukanga ward so batandizika kuti penango angatitetereko baja kuti batikumbirako mabohozi kuti benango akupezeko tandizo ya manzi monga tandizo yao bakansela batu aho tasebenza na beve for 6 years ubwino weve taupeza kulise kuti tingapeleke pasogolo tandizo yao kuti development kuchoka kusogolo ikazibwera kuti naise kuno ku Lukanga ward kazitifikira kuti naise tikapeza yako ubwino kupitira muri bakansela batu.
I'm Kalonde Tsanga. I'm a district youth chairperson, newly elected, and this is the first ever district executive that has been elected in Kapiri, which isn't a political but a district leadership that is looking at developmental issues of Kapiri concerning the youths under the district commissioner's office. I'm also part of the Yowop, Young Women in Politics. I'm also been mentored. And today we are looking at Proscadness. For me, if we talk about Proscadness, she is a person that has inspired me. I championed the I Love My Town Kapiri campaign because of her.
As an active member of her political party, Kalonde has had to fight with the constant barriers of being a young person trying to make her mark in politics. The Yowop project has given her the tools she needs to advocate for herself and other young women in her position.
Ine amashina yandi mkwai, ninewo Felix Chikoloma Kamwefu. Ward development chairperson for Lukanga ward. Mkwai ndefu andandeko ubusuma ebo tulebomba na bakansela. Bakansela mkwai information yonsewe bale tupero kufuma ku Kapiri under CDF bala tuchita inform. Batwebo kwebati impesa CDF nachifuma muchite apply ama project mrefu yakwebati mubomfye. Tulekala as a ward then tuachita apply ama form tuafiringa twatwala ku Kapiri. So apa tulelolela ukweba at any time wala tupera ma project tuachita apply through ba councilor. Then too natukwatako ubusuma muma schools yambi CDF yalibomba. For example, a building area pay nimpiesha CDF. There is kukalila primary school na kwena bali kulako iskulu through CDF na any NGOs bali tuafilisha. So ubusuma wa kansela ama report yonse ubusuma bwisa bala tulanga ze community ukweba tiba tuafilishe community abe kalamu community bachite benefit bali ba open mukubomba kwabo fyonse tuleshiba tuatotera.
At the end of the day, Proscadness took the time to sit with her mentees and discuss the realities of being a woman in politics.
Now that you've seen the ward and you've seen the long distances that we move and part of the development that we have done with the community, it's not easy being in politics as a woman. But you don't need to maybe feel pity for yourself because always the road is going to be rough. You remember that in politics, the majority who play the game are men.
Don't you find challenges where they may be look down on you because you're a woman?
Don't look down on yourself. Show them that you are worth. I, as Councilor Proscadness Mwinga, they are 10 in 1. And every councillor in the council chamber, a man knows about that. I'm more influential. And when it comes to development and when it comes to my ideas, I have to make sure that I lobby and they have to buy in it, the most especially the male folks. But the challenges are there.
What then would your guidance be as we prepare for 2026? Would one look at perhaps standing in the village where they came from? Does somebody get into urban politics or rural politics?
That's a very interesting question.
What's the difference, maybe?
The difference is when it comes to resources. When you go to campaign in a rural area, you have the community that are going to be helping you in terms of campaigning. You not use a lot of resources, more especially when it comes to money, compared to the urban area. In the urban, you'll be using your own pocket money.
Like Kalonde.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be using your own money to campaign. But in the rural setup, you'd find that the community, more especially as young people, most young women, even the youths. I'll give the example more especially about my ward, Lukanga ward. The time that I joined the politics in 2016, I was just 22 years. And I would tell you that in that 22 years, I only spent a few amount of money. The rest of the monies came from the farmers. Why? It's because they bought into the ideas of a young person in order to bring change in the area, more especially in Lukanga, in Chief Chipepo area. Education sector has been so low, and even health-wise and water and sanitation. So with me, I went with it in the campaigns, and I never said, I'll bring this. I used to tell the community, if we work together, we are going to bring the change that we want, not myself. Because if I personalize it, I will fail and the community will blame me. So the best, maybe, as long as your name is known, the name of your family members is known, and when you go there, and that's more especially the rural setup, I'll tell you, you are educated. Don't show them to say you are educated. Be like them. Be free with them. Be able to interact with them. I think you saw those people that I was interacting with in my ward. I don't choose to say this person is learned, this person is looking good, this person is looking bad. I interact with them, and that's why my people, they love me, because I'm not choosy.
So in many times you have tried to encourage me to attend a lot of workshops, more especially when it comes to mentorship programs. How has it helped you?
More especially, I'll talk about first program for young politicians in Africa. It has really helped me because the time that I joined the program for young politicians in Africa, that was my first term of being a councillor. I'll tell you, Kalonde, this time I'll brag to say I'm now the Central Province Gender and Equality Local Government Chapter. Wow. I'm the chairperson for Central Province Chapter now for local government. Why? It's because of the same training that I went through, Piper. I've utilized the skills that I've been taught. I've utilized the strategies that I was taught, even in the council chambers. I'll tell you, I've chaired a lot of meetings, and right now I'm chairing a very sensitive committee in the district, which is the Planning and Engineering Committee. So through the same program for young politicians in Africa and other trainings that I've attended, my dear, if you have those opportunities, grab them, and I'll tell you, you excel in whatever you are doing. Even in the council chambers, I'm an outstanding person. Even the way I debate in the chambers, I'm an outstanding person. So through the same training, because the capacity building will make you open up your mind, will make you grow and gain more ideas that you never had. So with that, my dear, just seize the opportunity when you have it. And thank you so much for having me to mentor young women in politics. And I hope in the near future, I'll be able to mentor more young people that can do better, not just being a councillor, but can do better, even members of parliament, being mayors. I would want to see a lot of young people that I can say, okay, I mentored this one, and this person is at a better place than me. Because in politics, that's where a lot of decisions are made and the voices are heard. Thank you.
In spaces without enough young women representing themselves, it is important to highlight the valuable roles they play in their communities. It is even more important to spotlight women, bridging the gap for young women following in their footsteps.